Wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which one?
This is big because it was always a question of whether or not they were really investigating him and gathering evidence regarding a charge.
Hey guys, I know I haven't posted on this account in a little minute.
Today, April 16th, singer David Anthony Burke has officially been arrested in connection with the passing of Celeste Hernandez. The report states Variety reports that David has been arrested for the passing of Celeste Hernandez, who was found in Hollywood inside the trunk of a Tesla back in September. According to the LAPD, David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, was taken in by the robbery division for Hernandez's passing and is currently being held without bail. The case is expected to be presented to the district attorney's office on Monday for filing consideration. Now, a lot of people were wondering why it took so long for this arrest to happen, but apparently investigators were working behind the scenes trying to get people close to David to flip on him. And eventually they did. One witness in the case even directly pointed at David as being responsible. And here's the unsettling part. Why? Here's the unsettling part. The witness is allegedly his secret lover, Neo. He posted on Instagram, "Thankfully, I'm legally fine in every way. And boy, do I have all of my receipts for things which resulted in the news of an investigation by the state of California against David Burke, where the target may be involved in having committed the following offenses. One count of..."
There is now pending in the Superior Court of the County of Los Angeles the above entitled grand jury investigation by the state of California against target David Burke, wherein target may be involved in having committed the following criminal offenses against the laws of the state of California, to wit, one count of... This is big. This is big because it was always a question of whether or not they were really investigating him and gathering evidence regarding a...
They were able to make David the #1 suspect and ultimately arrest him because of what was discovered on his iPhone. Presented in court this week, a tweet read, "Hey, David. Were you sitting on this hill next to the drainage gully thinking about what you did?" Where David had taken multiple suspicious photos in a single night, basically documenting his movements across a random day. But it doesn't stop there. Investigators also found an older video on his phone that they believe was recorded right around the time Celeste had passed. The report reads, Video. David recorded at his other house where Celeste stayed in February 2025. Celeste had likely already passed for a few weeks at this point. Around that same time, he leased a new red Tesla and suddenly stopped using the black one. An investigator even noticed a picture frame behind David in the video, identifying it as his secret rental home, and the recording date lines up almost perfectly with when investigators believe Celeste passed and when he stopped using that black Tesla.
Yes. I know I haven't posted on this account in a little minute, but I just had some words to share with you for 2025. Despite all the craziness that's going on, all the turmoil, the natural disasters, the pain and things like that, this year I just wanted to tell you guys not to be discouraged and not to lose hope and not to turn your face from God in these times of evil. And then it seems like just at the start of the year, it's literally January and all this stuff is happening. It's like the most insane, well, it's February now, but it's the most insane start to a year that I've ever seen. But God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. So keep that sound mind, 2025. Stay prayed up.
But this is what really caught investigators' attention. In that same video, David starts talking about multiple passings happening in his life. But when authorities looked into it, they found no records of any family or close friends passing at that time, except for Celeste. And this is where things take a serious turn for David now that he's been arrested. Files from the Celeste case have started going public. One document states, David's family has now been summoned to testify as witnesses before a grand jury in the passing of Celeste Riz. And here's something even more telling. Just 48 hours before, his family was called and David's Tesla, the same one linked to the case, was about to be auctioned off because he never picked it up from the impound. But right before the auction, he suddenly showed up and claimed it.
Let me read you what Steve recently posted on X, okay? David's Tesla, the vehicle in which Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found, was held by LAPD for only 48 hours to process evidence. After that, it was returned to the impound lot for David to retrieve, which he had not done until today. The Tesla was scheduled to go to auction tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and I had planned to attend and inspect it. However, in the final hours before auction, David, or someone with power of attorney acting on his behalf, picked it up. When I checked last week, the storage fees were approximately $10,500, as the vehicle had been released and available for pickup since September 10th, before Celeste had been identified. I hope just the thought of that vehicle haunts David and anyone else that knew Celeste was in the trunk for the rest of their lives.
That move alone suggests David knew exactly what was going on and that he wanted control of his property back, but it also gave investigators a major advantage. It helped them track where he had been, especially since no one had heard from him for nearly a year shortly after David was finally arrested. According to reports, David will likely face charges for the passing of Celeste ribs, with a grand jury now expected to decide on an indictment. Sources told that authorities wanted to arrest him immediately after locating him, especially because of what they uncovered inside that same private rental home where the earlier video was recorded in the evidence file. It states a private investigator discovered an incinerator capable of reaching temperatures up to 600 degrees inside David's home.
Wondering just what it was that a private investigator named Steve Fisher found inside David's home when he was given access last October. The PI reported seeing, quote, items you would expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the Hollywood Hills. And today, we are learning about one of those items.
Police later noted that this kind of equipment is typically used on farms and is actually illegal for a Los Angeles resident to have inside a home without proper permits or a registered farm. And yet David allegedly had it sitting inside a closet in a rental property. But everything shifted toward the end of the arrest file, where investigators documented the last known footage of Celeste alive, which surprisingly was found on David's own camera roll. The report states January 2nd, 2025 is the date of the last known photo uncovered of Celeste Hernandez. It's important to note that law enforcement may have access to even more evidence beyond this. According to metadata, the image was taken at 5 on January 2nd, 2025, with geolocation placing it in Baldwin Hills. Celeste is seen wearing a designer ripped hoodie, but this is where things get strange, someone replied to the investigator, saying, I saw this on Reddit. Isn't that the same hoodie seen on the floor in David's room in one of his selfies? If true, that could suggest the two were sharing a bedroom, and during the investigation, authorities also recovered that same sweater from David's home.
Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Big fan, big family. Oh, thank you. Mitchell.
I gotta stop with him if you even...
We
We need to delete this.
Maz, can we delete all vibes? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
With that evidence going viral early on, you won't believe what David allegedly tried next. Reports say sources believe after David hired a new legal firm and started transferring assets out of his name, he was preparing for law enforcement to close and expect his arrest soon. And that prediction turned out to be accurate, with his arrest now confirmed on April 16th. He reportedly tried moving his assets before everything caught up to him.
You know, transferring these assets in the middle of an investigation, as opposed to 2 years ago or a year ago. Right. Could a court look at this and say, this was a deliberate attempt to, what you say, concealing assets, and they could breach it, they could pierce it, they could say, even though that you've transferred this into your mother's name, that was invalid, this is a way for, let's say, a plaintiff who sues him, or let's say in a criminal judgment to pay that fine. Can a court look at that and say, even though you transferred it, it's still open season on those properties?
Yeah, this is what's so puzzling about this. It is a very basic premise of law throughout the country that you can't transfer assets after the event happens that would otherwise trigger collecting on those assets. So we have rules in different states. Sometimes they're called fraudulent transfers. Sometimes they're called fraudulent conveyances. There's a lot of different names for them. But the crux of it is you cannot transfer assets.
In the end, despite trying to stay one step ahead and protect his assets, it didn't work. The singer is now under arrest. Drop a like if you've been following this case and let me know in the comments. What do you think really happened to Celeste? I'll be reading through them